We're going to talk about my favorite factoring trick, which is, of course, we're going to have our fun little standard quadratic, ax squared. Sorry, I'm taking so long for this. Ax squared plus bx, and then plus a constant. This is your standard quadratic you usually deal with in algebra classes. Now, usually when we're solving quadratics, we're going to have an equal to understand. So, yeah, but you probably already know this. We're going to talk about the factor tricks. If we assume a is non-1, so non-zero, so let me just write this. A doesn't equal 1 or 0 because it's quadratic if it is some non-zero constant equal 1. And then we quickly use a factoring trick. Now, of course, I did ask a question about this on my Math Stack Exchange account, which is currently at 158 reputation, which is nothing. So we'll transform this quadratic into x squared. Sorry. Plus bx. Plus c. Now the thing is, this is usually, what is usually taught in an algebra class, except it's basically said a different way. So basically, usually for class, you'll just deal with it like, oh, what's gonna be, what like adds up to like a times like what adds up to be twice the AC. But this is a different way to just visualize it. So just factor out the quadratic of this form. So this will equal some factorization of Sx, S1x. S1 is just some arbitrary constant multiplied by x, which is random. An arbitrary just coefficient plus R1, just an arbitrary root times the other root. S2 is just the other arbitrary coefficient. And now we're do plus the second arbitrary. When I say arbitrary, I don't mean it just means that basically for any quadratic it can be factored into this. This is just an algebraic expression. So now, simply if we divide by sorry, I'm trying to remember. So sorry, I'm gonna have to reference my. Hold on. So yes. So then, if we divide S1 by A times by X, plus, that arbitrary root. Now, if we multiply that by
just a friendly reminder that you are to stay in your class period that you are assigned to throughout the day. Please do not ask your teachers to visit other classrooms. Please do not visit other classrooms because it does become disruptive to the teachers and the classes that you want to visit. So again, you need to remain in your class that you are scheduled for. If you are out and about, you must have a pass. Again, do not ask your teacher, they're going to tell you no. If you need something, you have to have a pass. We will see you guys on campus, and hopefully you guys have a great Wednesday.
Sorry, that was just a school announcement because I'm recording during school. But if we simply just factor it out to the first arbitrary coefficient divided by A times X plus R1, the first arbitrary root, and then if we do the same thing except we multiply the second arbitrary root by, this is actually a factored expression for the quadratic. Now you may be asking why. This is actually answered quite neatly on my on the deck, but there's an answer provided by a very neat person. I would suppose because everyone on Mass Tech Exchange is very neat. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If I hope it was really educational, and make sure to subscribe. This is my first ever video that deals with roots. Roots are really fun. In fact, I'm going to erase this black. I'm gonna go with how to solve roots that isn't factoring. We're gonna talk about completing the square. So now let's talk about completing the square. So, oh shoot. Suppose we have an expression, actually, I'm not even going to write out the typical quadratic. So, assume we just have a typical quadratic, ax squared plus bx plus c. I'm just not going to write it out because that'll take up a lot of time and we've already saw it. So now, if we want to complete the square, so actually, I'll just write it up to make it easier to visualize. So we have ax squared x plus c. So it's taken. So to clean this as we're going to take half of b squared, so x squared. So that's really bad too, but just imagine that's squared, so plus bx plus b. In fact, actually, I'm drawing, so I'm going to talk about a really fun fact. This is actually how the quadratic formula is derived, completing the square. So, actually, it's going to be, actually, for simplicity's sake, we're not going to write out, no, sorry, we have to do that. So, just pretend there isn't an a there. That's actually how you solve the quadratic formula. You'd actually divide everything by a. That's so then we have this equal negative c. Okay, so then this is gonna equal. So, oh shoot, I've done this. Didn't write the x. So then this is gonna be equal to x plus. Gosh, that's a bad beat. Actually, just know that completing the square is really useful. I forget it a bit, but just actually, yeah. So yeah, completing the square is really useful. You can try to find a way better tutorial, whatever. Like God would have to do. It's really all about my favorite factory trick. So if you didn't hear that, have a great day and be blessed.